Oh, well, I clicked the wrong button.
Hey, howdy,
I
bud.
clicked the wrong button. I meant to I meant to click back into the banners.
Oh, well.
Fuck. Well, I messed up. Hi, everybody.
the wrong
How's it
button.
going? Are you? I can hear myself.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm trying to
Okay.
share it.
Okay. I clicked the wrong button. We weren't ready at all. But hi. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Special episode today. As we mentioned in our Tuesday show. Today we are doing just a preview of the Concacaf Champions Cup Final between Columbus Crew and Pachuca. Both teams ranked 1 and 2 respectively in the CONCACAF rankings. Columbus holding that top spot. Dog, this game could determine how big this club actually is.
Man, listen, we were talking off air, before we started, and win or lose, this is just, great exposure for the club, right? It's showing that even without their star, not performing right, or just everybody stepping up, it just shows how, like you said, how big this team is.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much depth behind each position. Maybe not too much behind Camacho's position, but it's still, there is a lot of depth and a lot of a lot of energy going forward.
Yeah. Obviously there's a watch party at the Chase Plaza and Condado Tacos at lower.com in downtown Columbus. If you guys haven't made the trip to Mexico and want to enjoy a free evening of a watch party, come on out to lower.com field for the official watch party held on the Chase Plaza and Condado's Tacos. When I first saw that we were like going to be in the, what was that, the round of 16 of the Concacaf Champions Cup?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't expect us getting past the quarterfinals.
Yeah. I mean, whichever MLS team that we were going to be facing, I believe it was either Houston or St. Louis.
Yeah.
That was going to be a fun match itself. But then, getting past those, I mean, you had Tigres and Orlando, right? That, should have been a little bit better. Could have been a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But once it showed, Tigres, it just was like, yee. Like, yeah, it just was one of those where it just was, if we can at least win one of the games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If we can at least score in one of the games, I'm cool with it, because I mean, Tigres is a powerhouse, right? Columbus is starting to become a powerhouse team, after the run last year. But the run that they're on now, man, I'm looking for Mexico to be painted black and gold.
Let's talk about a little bit how they got here. Columbus obviously going through the Houston Dynamo. First leg 1-0. Alex Matan scores the late winner essentially the last kick of the game in the first leg down in Houston. The Crew come back and get a 1-1 draw, but advance to the quarterfinals on aggregate 2-1. From that series, what did you gain about the Columbus Crew? What knowledge did you get from the Columbus Crew about them in this tournament?
I mean, in that game, it just seemed like it was another. To me, honestly, I didn't get too much out of it because it was essentially an MLS game, right? It felt like it was a regular season game. Granted, it was a 2-game series, but still, it was a regular season game in the sense, right? So there wasn't really too much to gain other than the heart of the team. The Columbus till I die, the Columbus doesn't quit, right? So, I mean, it's hard to get anything from Houston, right? Hello.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what Connor's comment means. Going back to last year, I remember we couldn't beat Atlanta. Beat them, couldn't win them. I'm confused.
I am too.
But we advanced past Houston. Now we're in the quarterfinals, going up against Tigres. Many thought that Lucas Zelleran would come back for a watch of his two old teams. Obviously, we saw who he was rooting for on his Instagram story afterwards. But 1-1 is the final score in Columbus. We go down to Tigres, and it's just a whole new ball game. Obviously, we let in that first goal within what was that, 3 minutes?
Yeah, it was an early goal, but credit to the team for not giving up after that. They could have buried their heads.
I was talking about people said we couldn't beat teams like Orlando and Cincy leading up to the Cup. Yeah, MLS Cup.
Yeah, Concacaf is different.
Continue.
But the team could have easily just packed it up right after that, right? And boy, they laced up, they tightened up them shoestrings and went to work. They showed why they are called America's hardest working team. They put them hard hats to use.
Yeah, they did. But excuse me, Jesus Christ. We go on into the second half, down 1. Obviously, it was. Oh, okay. See, that's all you had to say, Connor. I get it now. He's making a comparison. Gotcha. That makes a ton more sense.
See, if you start out like that, then we know how you're.
Yeah. Second half, and Diego Rossi ties it. Now it's game on, because now it's tied on aggregate.
Mm-hmm.
It's tied on away goals. It's tied in the game itself. The biggest thing, the biggest talking point was just the resilience of the team to not, back down from a challenge like Tigres.
Yeah.
And good.
It was a fight. You know what I'm saying? We were without Aiden in that second leg.
Yep.
Picked up the two yellows here in Columbus. So, I mean, he was sitting there somewhere in the stands watching, like, itching to be out on that field, because he he was itching, and he even stated, when he came, when we had talked to him, that he was itching, like he wanted to be out there, right? But Diego finally started to come around. We started seeing glimpses of the LAFC Diego, right? And he hasn't looked back since. And just, it was a hard fought game, through the 90 plus minutes.
Moving in, now we go to extra time. No score, and now we move to PKs.
That scared me.
Penalties did scare me. Yeah, I will say penalties did scare me a lot. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of wrote us off when it went to PKs.
Man, listen, I was tired of PKs already for that day because that was the same day as She Believes. So I had PKs between Brazil and Japan. And then the U.S. women's went into PKs against Canada. So I was just like, please, dear God, for the love of it, no PKs. Like, I want to get some sleep. I don't want to have all this energy, adrenaline from a crew game, at 12 o'clock at night. And sure enough, I should have gambled on it.
I remember that day was the exact same day my grandma died. To take my mind off of everything that was happening, decided to watch a crew game. And here we are at 10, 11 midnight, getting so happy.
Man, listen, I was sitting out in the parking lot at lower.com. I was like, look, I don't have time to get home to get set up for post game. So I'm just going to sit here. I pulled the laptop out, sat it on top of the car, had my trusty drinks with me, and turned it on the laptop.
And just was like, I loved it. I had so much energy, just sitting there in the parking lot, people walking by, looking at me on my laptop. I'm like, listen, I'm watching the rest of the game. Y'all could go to hell. And sure enough, Patrick stood tall.
Patrick Schulte saving the first two PKs from Tigres. One on Pierre-Andre Gignac, I think is his name. Yeah. Guy who's absolutely tearing up Liga MX. Not right now, but during their seasons. And then we go to Max Arfsten.
Oh my
God! Who seals the deal for the Columbus Crew?
Well, so we talked with him after, right? I believe it. We talked to him for media availability at the Salt Lake game, and we asked him about the PK, and he just said, after the ref was saying before he took the kick, hey, if you make it, don't celebrate right away. We want to confirm it. Don't celebrate until you hear the whistle. So I know as a crew fan watching it, when he did it and then when he stopped and then put his arms out, I was like, oh, that's the ultimate, being petty right there. Just stop and wait a second and then put your arms so he just said that he, was waiting for the ref to blow the whistle before he celebrated. So, I mean, he's since that PK right there, he's blown up.
He has. Max has definitely found a place, if not in the starting 11, if not one of the first few names coming off the bench for the Columbus Crew and MLS. Now we move to the big game. I'd probably say the biggest two-leg series in Crew's history. Monterey. 2-1 win here in Columbus, but Monterey does have that all favored away goal.
Yeah, that sucked. That goal was just means Brandon Vasquez.
Jason, yeah.
I mean, it's Brandon Vasquez. There's no stopping him scoring.
No, Vasquez didn't score.
I thought he did.
No.
Who the hell was it that scored then?
Mesa.
Oh, well, Vasquez had something to do with it, I believe.
I don't remember.
But
we don't think of Cincinnati people.
Yeah.
But I jumped ahead a little bit. Cucho Hernandez gets the scoring start in the first half. He had a game. Great game. Second half, we give up the goal to Monterey. And then Jason Russell Rowe. The guy is absolutely bang on any and everywhere he is on the field.
Hey, that just showed his persistent hard work to get to where he's at. You know, he's under 22 years old, you know, still learning, you know, and he's got great mentors, you know, teaching him, helping him, right? And you can almost see with each game, especially after the Monterey, he's getting more confident in his, you know, taking the shot and being able to decipher, do I take it or do I give it off? Right? He's getting a little more confident in doing that. So, man, that goal though against Monterey here, it sent everybody through the roof.
Now we move down to Monterey, a place where nobody can win in Monterey. Miami couldn't do it. Cincinnati couldn't do it. Pretty sure Monterey was claiming that they were going to take a third MLS team and beat them in Monterey.
Yeah, they were.
Jesus Christ, I have a dry throat. I need Gatorade. It did not start off the way that Crew fans wanted.
Of course not. It's not crew fitting if it doesn't start off, you know, wonky.
Yeah. And it's an own goal by Yevon Shaberko early on.
That happened, and I saw everybody start hating on Yevon. You know, oh, why is he out there? But, you know, he's not that good, and, you know, things like that. And it's just like, come on now. It just, had he been able to slow up a little bit, I think Patrick could have got back to the ball and, you know, been able to save it. But it just was all that momentum, you know, Yevon was trying to get back. It just took him into the ball's path and took an unlucky, you know, deflection off of him into the back of the net. So
if I kind of look back at that a little bit and say, if Schulte doesn't come off his line, I think somehow, some way, Yevon kind of dispossesses Mesa and gets the ball.
I don't think so.
But again, I'm just saying, it's one of those in the moment things.
If
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
If Schulte would have came off the line a little bit later, he could have saved it, and Yevon would have been able to. But when Schulte, you know, how early Schulte came off his line, that had to force Yevon to sort of take a curl to get in front of Mesa. right? So had it been a straight shot, Yevon and Mesa, and then all of a sudden Schulte comes out as he, right as he's getting closer, I think it's saved. It might have been a PK. I'll take it. Because it's showing that the desire for Yevon not to give up on that play. Right? And it's showing Schulte making, like Nazi says, if he's out there, he's got to make that split-second decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I stay or do I go?
Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now?
But also at the same time with how shitty the field was, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's one of those you're risking possible injury because of planting in that shitty ass field. Possible injury.
Aiden Morris gets the equalizer. Gets the equalizer just before halftime. Literally the last kick.
In the 5th minute of stoppage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a kick, it was a header.
No, it wasn't. It was he scored from outside the box.
Okay, yeah, that's right, because it was an interception.
Mm-hmm.
Their keeper, don't know what the hell they were thinking. He could have just kicked it and that would have been half. But he pretty much gave it, not pretty much, he gave it to Aiden. And Darren, in my opinion, Darren Aiden to kick it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there, he's everywhere. He's here, he's there, he's every fucking where, right?
Second half, right out of the gate, I think it was like 3 minutes actually, between 3 and 5 minutes outside of the second half whistle. Diego Rossi gets his second of the tournament, and now it's 2-1 Columbus.
Yeah.
Was it I think 4-2 on aggregate right now.
Yep. T-Rex on a platter.
It's Diego Rossi with his second, and Columbus are cruising right now.
So they kept on talking about it right on the broadcast. I won't forget it because Rob Stone was talking about it that Columbus was up 3-2 on aggregate. Or no, 4-2 on aggregate. I'm sorry. 4-2 on aggregate. So Monterey still had a chance to come back. They just needed 2 goals to force the extra time, right? And it just was, they kept on talking and kept mentioning, everything on the aggregate. But I mean, that second half, it looked like a different team.
Mm-hmm.
It really looked like, Aiden gave them that so much momentum going into halftime. It just looked like they came out revitalized. And, yes, like Connor says here in the comments, the ball though from Matan, without the 5'5" Romanian dribbly boy, making the cuts that he was, and it just seemed like the ball was Velcro to his shoe. Right. It literally just, like he just put it on his shoe and just said, I'm just going to spin circles. I'm going to cut here. I'm going to go here. And then, just a little flip of his foot, he's able to pass the ball. And, credit for staying onside.
Yeah. Big time. Big time.
Credit for staying onside and Diego just finishing it.
Later stages of the match, Monterey is throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Columbus and Patrick Schulte right now. It wasn't until that the full press by Monterey was caught in a very vulnerable position to where Jason Russell-Rowe was able to collect a pass from Matan, and go around the goalie and get his second of the tournament. And now it's Crew 3, Monterrey 1. 5-2 on aggregate for Columbus.
I mean, what can you say? A heads up play by Matan for recognizing where Jason was. And then also recognizing that the keeper was out. He was out way off his line. And, for Matan to get that ball to Jason just, did a little circle, a little half crescent, run around him and just, here, I'm just going to tap this in, call it a night. And you can hear the boos on the broadcast, and man, for the conditions that the team was playing in with that field and the hostile environment, and it was starting to get pretty bad though with Monterrey fouls. It was really starting to get ugly out there on that field. And it just goes to show you, like we've talked about it before, the style of play that Columbus does and invites all that. Invites the press, invites, teams to be aggressive. And then having the vision to find, cross field or up, same side, to get the ball to break those lines once they, and overload a side. There's always somebody that's open if they could get them the ball.
Crew win. We beat Monterrey, rub it in Cincinnati's faces, rub it in Miami's faces. We book our spot to the first ever Concacaf Champions Cup Concacaf Champions Cup Final for the first time ever, and a spot in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup on the line. Taking a look on the opposition, Pachuca also enters in the round of 16, going up against the Philadelphia Union. First leg at Subaru Park, a tie 0-0, which was kind of shocking, honestly.
It was. I thought Philly had the edge, though, because you're playing in, Chester, Pennsylvania, which is always a hard place to play in. And especially the time of year that they were playing in, it was still a little cool.
Yeah.
And I hate being around the Delaware River when you have cool weather. No, thank you. Y'all keep that shit.
March 5th, to be exact.
So it still was cold temperatures.
Yes.
Yeah. We learned our lesson last year going to Philly in the cold weather. So, yeah, no, thank you. So I really feel that.
Kind of want to go back this year, not going to lie.
I do too.
Honestly.
Because it's warm weather.
Yeah, it is. Anyway.
But, I thought it would have been a little more, in favor of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
You have your home fans. You got the weather to your advantage. Pachuca doesn't play in weather like this. Freeze them to death, and, you got the win. Well, it didn't go in Philly's favor.
6 days later, they traveled down to Estadio Hidalgo, the site of the CONCACAF Champions Cup Final this Saturday. And Pachuca absolutely just runs rancid on them, 6-0, and they booked their spot into the quarterfinals.
So as far as that game goes, it just was a combination of jet lag, altitude, and I believe Philly had some injured players as well.
I think so, yeah.
So that's all Pachuca was trying to do, was get out of Philly with either, with a draw or a 1-goal win. And they already knew as soon as they got home to Hidalgo, then it was curtains for Philly.
Quarterfinals, Pachuca now facing Herediano. First leg at Estadio Nacional, and Pachuca absolutely smothers the opposition 5-0 in the first leg.
I mean,
What more can you say? What more can you say?
You just scored 6 against Philly, turn around and score 5 more.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Then they come back to Estadio Hidalgo, and Pachuca wins a close one, in the game at least, but absolutely outscores their opponent 7-1 on aggregate by a score of 2-1 in the second leg. Now they've booked their spot into the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, once Pachuca scored the 5 goals in the first leg, it was, they had the series wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Had it been 2-1 in the first leg, now you're going into the second leg in Pachuca like, okay, this is what, can we get by with, scoring just maybe 1 goal, 2 goals? Or, what do we need to get by? So the fact that the 5 goals came first, that just sealed the whole round for them.
Pardon me. Yeah. Now things get interesting as Pachuca now face Club America. First leg at Estadio Azteca. They end in a draw 1-1.
I saw that coming.
Uh-huh.
Because Club America is a strong they're one of the Titan teams in Mexico.
Yeah.
There's no other better way to call it. They are a Titan team for the country of Mexico and Liga MX. So a 1-1 draw, it was like, okay, it's time to buckle up, and this one's gonna get good. Who's gonna blink first?
The reason why I say it's interesting is because, if I'm not mistaken, they needed to end in a draw in the second leg, and Club America needed to win, because if that were the case, the Concacaf Champions Cup Final would be held here in Columbus.
Correct.
That did not go as planned at all. Pachuca winning against Club America 2-1 back home, taking a 3-2 aggregate lead and win, and they've booked their spot into the Concacaf Champions Cup Final. Now the two teams meet 8,000 feet above sea level. As we saw earlier in the week, the guys have been training with altitude masks and sleeping in altitude tents. I've read that normally when traveling to such a high altitude stadium, you need to leave a week prior. The guys are leaving today, Thursday, 2 days prior to the match. Does that give them enough time to get acclimated to the altitude and be able to perform the way that they have these last 3 league games and be able to pull out a win?
So it gives you a head start doing the altitude training all week. The fact that they had the players sleeping in altitude tents, right? Or, created the altitude in their homes. However they do it, I haven't seen one of the tents. The fact that they did that all week, I really think that they started it when they came back from Orlando. Or who knows? They might have started it last week, right? Because in my opinion, if you go back and watch that Orlando game, yeah, the crew players were dripping sweat and all that, and they were they took those water breaks, but you didn't see any of them huffing, gasping for air. which we have seen in the past, right? Going to hot places, the team sitting there trying to suck down oxygen on top of, sucking down as much water as they can to stay hydrated, right? So it makes me believe that they might have started doing the tents last week, getting them to stay in those altitude style tents a week prior, right?
Yeah.
To, start getting their body transitioning into those, to being around that elevation. It's also possibly they could have been doing the altitude mask last week as well. With some of the training that they do on, inside of the building, and just said, hey, don't post pictures. So looking at some of the video, though, of what they released earlier this week of showing the guys training with the mask on, you didn't really see too much sweating like you would be if it was something that you're just starting this week. You know what I'm saying? You're not seeing sweat just dripping and, puddles. I didn't see that on Aiden. I didn't see it on, on Camacho that showed him. I didn't see it on any of them to where they were dripping sweat, which if you just started it this week and you have those masks on, you're going to break, and you're doing high intensity training, like being on the bike or, on the treadmill or on an elliptical, whatever the case may be, and you have those masks on, you're going to be dripping sweat. I mean, you saw the redness in Aiden's face of, his body temperature, and you could tell he was hot, but you didn't see it pouring sweat. So it just leads me to believe that they possibly could have been starting this style of training to get ready for the altitude last week.
Yeah.
On top of, you're going down to Orlando, it was hot. Okay, so you add that into the training for, heat. And, you don't, it's something that you're just adding in to go with the heat for Orlando. Now you come back. Now it's Pachuca week. It's going to be hot as hell. You've already started your body accustoming to the altitude. So now you leave on a Thursday. You're 32,000 feet up in the air on the plane. But you're in a pressurized cabin. You get off the plane. Now you're 8,000 feet above sea level, but your body's already accustomed to it.
Now we do the deep dive into the preview of the game itself. I have the team comparison here on Concacaf that I would love to share if I can ever get my screen to work. There we go. Team comparison. It looks like Pachuca has a habit of getting more yellow cards than Columbus does. A little bit of a temper problem, it looks like.
I mean, but Columbus is used to it. Columbus is used to being fouled. So
yeah.
It's hard saying. I mean, it is a private plane, but it's a Boeing.
Yeah.
So it's an actual commercial style plane.
Yeah, but it's like they probably buy it out.
Yeah. I believe the Haslams bought the plane. And have it parked there at Lane Aviation. Yeah. It's a chartered plane. There's a easy.
Yeah, that's
chartered.
Looking at shots, Obviously, Patrick Schulte might have a lot of work to do. 91 total shots for Pachuca to Columbus's 59. 29 are off target, so he may not have a lot to do. 1 on woodwork, 45 on target. They've scored 16 goals, the most out of any team in the tournament this year, and are looking to add to that total on Saturday. For Columbus, 59 total shots, 22 off target, 1 on woodwork, 27 on target, but only scoring 9 goals. These numbers, what do they mean to you?
What do they mean to me? Honestly, the only team that Pachuca has played really is Club America. Like that, besides the 0-0 draw against Philly, Club America is the only one that that gave a real threat to, Pachuca.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see ridiculous goal scores. You didn't see 5-1 here, 4 the next. It was a 1-1 draw the first leg against Club America.
Yep.
And then you said a 3-2 win?
2-1, 3-2 on aggregate.
2-1 win, in the second leg. That's only 3 goals against a tough team like Club America.
Yeah.
So they really didn't face nobody. So now you're going up against a great team like Columbus, to where you got good defense. You know what I'm saying? The defense gets caught up sometimes, but other than that, Columbus has a great defense.
Mm-hmm.
You're going up against a great defensive mind out on the field in Rudy Camacho. Nazi out there on the sideline doing sideline sprints with the team. So this will actually show if this year's Pachuca team is honestly really about it. They got knocked out of the playoffs, I believe, by Club America in the Liga MX, playoffs. So they sort of got revenge on that. But it's like I said, Pachuca hasn't really gone up against a stronger team, other than Club America.
As we move down, now we see goals, 14 assists to 7 in favor of Pachuca. Defensively, 106 steals to 74. I would say that this number right here says that we press when need to and can dispossess you at any time.
Which is correct, or interceptions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what, when it comes to like the shots and all that, when you're not playing against a great defense, you're going to get all those shots as all you want all day. But when you got a team that can press you whenever the hell they feel like it, honestly, let's just be real about Columbus's defense. They can press you whenever the hell they want. They have two center mids that, can dispossess you at any time. And Darlington Nagbe is one of the best, if not the greatest midfielder to ever lace up some boots in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, 106 steals, though.
Yeah.
Somebody likes taking candy from a baby.
Going forward, correct passes 2,616. Total passes 2,936, with 320 being incorrect. That ranks Columbus 4th in the stats, with Tigres above Columbus, Monterrey in second, Club America in first, Pachuca only in 6th, behind the New England Revolution.
I mean, that's just showing.
Yeah. No, it is.
That's just Nazi showing off now.
89% passing accuracy to 85 for Columbus. Is this going to be a possession-based game?
Yes.
For Columbus, do you think?
Yes. And I say that because Columbus is going to want to try to get out on the front foot and get their style of play going first. In order for them to do that, they have to have possession. So they're going to be the ones to get out there and dictate how the game is going to go. You know, we know Pachuca has fast players. We know they got the speed, right? We know that they can get behind defenses. But it's kind of hard to get behind a defense if you don't have the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're go back to what Coach Nancy has said before, he's challenging the guys to play with their brain. And their brain will make the right decisions. So
goals. No, wrong one here. Let me see. No, got through all that. Oh, there we go. I'm messing up over here. I suck with modern technology. Before I actually show this screen, just what do you think will need to happen for Columbus to stay on the task?
Oh, you're getting smart now. Just use your head. Be smart. Play how they always play.
Mm-hmm.
We hear the players all the time talk about it. You know, we play our game. We play our style. We don't change. And I think that's what sets Columbus so far apart from every team in the MLS is they don't change the way they play. They really don't. If you go back to look at how from 2023, February 23rd of 2023 in Chester, Pennsylvania against Philly, all the way to December 9th of 2023 against LAFC, they did not change up their style of play, the way that they played.
Yeah.
Not one game. Even in Leagues Cup, they did not change the way they played. The only thing they changed is their tactical shape. And you brought it up Tuesday, how they change every 15, 20 minutes on their shape.
Yeah.
But they not once did they change up their style of play at all. It was always inviting the press. It was always, looking for, those open channels, like, when teams, finally overload trying to press Columbus. And they catch everybody off guard.
Yeah.
Yes, you have all the tape on Nazi from last year, but that was last year. They're a year better now. So you could try to take what they did last year and try to, prepare against them. But, Nazi's not going to change his style of play. He's going to make you beat that. He's going to make you beat the team by having you switch up your play. And that's exactly what he said about he said it yesterday at media availability that, Pachuca runs like a 4-4, like a 4-4-2 sometimes, but they also change it up. And he's like, so it's kind of hard to watch film against Pachuca, in the past, because they're going to change it up coming up against Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's not really much you can try to prepare yourself on how they're going to play, the formation, but you could sort of prepare for how they might play based off of, like he says it, they look at like for trends, like this is how they play, right? But the formation could be different. So they look at trends in, aggressive behavior, things like that. So you could prepare for that type of stuff. But as far as how they line up, you're not going to be able to prepare for them because they're going to when it comes to playing Columbus, they're going to change up their formations.
Moving on, keys to victory for both teams.
I'm gonna start with Pachuca first because
Okay.
Use the crowd. Use the crowd in the and the elevation to your advantage. If they want to beat Columbus, they are going to have to be precise on counters. And then also try to knock Columbus off of their center by going out, just pressuring, Nagby and Aiden. Not murdering them, but just pressure. Now flip it over to Columbus. To beat Pachuca in their home at 8,000 feet above sea level, you're going to have to be patient, play smart, and play with your head up. And finally, you're going to have to play with heart. You're going to have to be brave going up against Pachuca. You're going to have to you're going to have to act like Mel Gibson and Braveheart in that final fight scene. Or act like the Spartans out of 300 going up against the Persians. Y'all might be outnumbered, but y'all going down, you're not going down without a fight. So keep fighting, play with heart, play with passion, play smart, be patient, go have fun, and just play your style of play.
Once again, you guys can join the watch party at lower.com field on the Chase Plaza or at Condado's Tacos right next door. Gates open at 8 p.m. Kickoff on Fox Sports 1 is set for 9:15 p.m. Come down, have some tacos, have some tequila, watch the crew win the Concacaf Champions Cup. My friend, as I said, it wasn't a long show, but we end with the most important segment of the show. What is your final prediction?
Oh my God, you're gonna put me on the spot. I'm trying not to be stupid bold. And I want to be a realist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it goes to extra time.
Oh, you think it's done in 90?
I think it's done in 90 and whatever stoppage time the fourth official decides to, make up, whether it's World Cup stoppage time or 3-2 Columbus.
3-2 Columbus. Wow. Who scores?
Cucho. I think he's itching to get back on that field and, get back to his ways. I just think, he's getting over a back injury, and those, you don't want to play with those. So glad that he's been out the last 3 weeks. He's able to get the rest and the rehab that he needed. I'm going to say Diego. The third one could be a toss-up.
Okay.
I'm going to go Darlington or Christian.
Okay.
I think, Christian, he took that PK and it was saved in the against Monterey.
Appreciate that, Edgar.
Yeah, we love all the support we get, right? For the team and for us. So it really comes down to 4 possibles: either Darlington, Jason, Christian, or like Connor says, Hinestroza. He's honestly the wild card too. He knows the tactics. He knows the mentality of Pachuca because he just came from there, this season. So, give me 3-2.
3-2.
3-2.
I told you off stream that I had a little bet slip in. I'm gonna go Columbus after extra time. And I'm probably going to go 2-1.
2-1?
2-1. Columbus. I would say Rossi. And I would even go as far to say if he starts, Max Arfston.
Ooh. What if he doesn't?
As the 2 goal scorers, huh?
What if he doesn't?
I would say then he comes off the bench and gets the goal. But if he doesn't play, then I would probably go on and say we got a Rudy Camacho header in the last 119th minute to give us the lead. I'm going I'm going to the wire.
Well, hell, we didn't see Philip Quinton scoring a goal last year against Atlanta.
And look what happened.
He got a header. So,
yep.
I mean, I see going to the end of the game, it'd be 3-1 Columbus. To the end of the 90, and I see Pachuca getting one more, trying to hurry up.
Yeah.
And trying to tie it to go to the extra, but I see Columbus with the lead, going into
going down to the final 90 plus. So I could be wrong. It could go to extra time. But we are leaving a true wild card out, though.
Who scores first and within the first 20, 30 minutes? Pachuca scores first, I would say.
I don't think so. I think Columbus scores first.
Yeah? I would love
it. Derek Jones with the header. Oh.
But we are leaving a true wild card out, and that's Zawadzki. Does he play? Does he not? There's too many wild cards on the damn team. Sheesh. Give me a Yao goal, a Mo goal. Give me. You know what? I think Yevon gets one.
Yevon?
I think Yevon gets one. Damn.
Yeah, Yevon's due for a goal. Yevon's due for a goal.
Give me a Schulte goal, okay? Give me a Patrick Schulte goalie goal.
Who is Sean Boyce?
I think he's trying to say
Zawadzki?
yeah.
He does.
He's got hops. But fuck it, give me a Patrick Schulte goal.
This guy wants every team. This guy wants every player on the team to score.
That would be nice though, right?
It would be 11 or 18 to 1 win. I'm excited.
If that ever happens, you can mark me down saying that I called it.
It's fair. I will clip this and say that Jerald called it. That Patrick Schulte is going to score.
Hey, what would that mean though if Schulte was able to catch their keeper out of position and just launches one? What would that say about the team?
About Pachuca or Columbus?
About Columbus. That
Nothing
no matter what position.
It'd be more in Pachuca because they're sleeping.
Yeah, but it would also say no matter what position you're playing, you could score from any position.
There it is right there. There it is right there. I'm excited for Saturday. I know you are.
Man.
Gonna be fun. Once again, kickoff 9:15 p.m. Gates at lower.com open at 8:15. You guys can come on down to the stadium at the Chase Plaza or Condado's Tacos. Watch the game. Hopefully Columbus pull out a win on Saturday, and we can book our spot to the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Jerald, my friend, this has been fun. And hopefully we'll be talking about a very glorious win on on Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys can you might get a copyright claim.
Nope, it was less than 10 seconds.
Fair. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Wiseman Pod, on Instagram at the Wiseman Said Podcast, on TikTok at Wiseman Pod. You guys can follow Jerald on Twitter.
Jerald_Lucas 96.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Fisher Tyler __. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Wiseman Say, and watch us on Spotify, Goals TV, and YamaMedia.com. You guys can listen to all of our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google, iHeart, whatever you use to get podcasts. Joe, my friend, Ash Tradition goes, Wiseman Say.
Only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. Go Crew.
Stay wise, y'all.